Welcome to the boardroom.
This is my political cartoon for Donald Trump today at Maria Grasmick. I did this one on my Samsung Android. There you go, and I want to share how I did it. 6/1/18. I did that on my little cell phone. There is the Drudge Report. Look at that beautiful picture on Drudge Report. I said I just got to do this one. Look at it's so crisp, clear. He's got his hands open. He's got such beautiful hands. Anyway. There I am. I take it and you put it on Autodesk Sketchbook, and I do the blue sketch. When you first start out, you can trace the blue sketch, but you don't want to draw the cartoon as tracing, because it will look like tracing. And it's, maybe when you first start out learning the software, you can trace where things go, but I don't. See, I'm drawing right next to it. And over time you get better at it, and that's how you're supposed to do it. That's what all the artists and experts say, because you know what, something that's traced just looks traced. And you want to master the art of caricature, right? You want to look at a face and exaggerate it, and you can't do that tracing it. So yeah, but when you first start out, that's what lots of people do, and they're making money off just tracing photos on Instagram or something. Okay, there I am doing. Okay, so I do the blue sketch, then I select the area I'm working on and I fill it with gray, the middle gray, mid-tone. And then on top of that, I add blacks and whites and I mix it in. I'm just learning this technique. It's something I learned in a $200 a year digital painting class. You want to do it in black and white first, because that way you don't mess up the values. The values is the range of from white to black, so and then you color the black and white picture later. See how I'm coloring on top of it? So that, and you work on layers. Each layer is like a piece of paper on top of a clear, and you want the ink to be on top, of course, and then you could color underneath. It's just so exciting, digital art. And if you want to support Trump, and you don't have time or whatever, you can do this on your cell phone once a day. You could read the news, and do a cell phone. Do political cartoons for Donald Trump, because you know what? This is going to be the most important presidency, the most important leadership, the most important king of all time, of all humanity. That's him. I was saying, when he said he was going to run, I said the same thing. I haven't changed. I've been a Celebrity Apprentice follower. I followed him and read Art of the Deal at 14. I love the guy. I know him. He's Americana. He's the American dream. He's, what we all want to have. We all want to have him as a family member. We all want to have him. Ivanka's so lucky. His kids are so lucky, so blessed. His wife is so blessed. It's her job to be gorgeous. I mean, what a job. I mean, anyway, I do political cartoons because, my grandfather told me when I was a little girl, he hoarded them. He hoarded political cartoons. He was a Alamo Scout, special elite forces in the Korean War, and he got all these medals, Purple Hearts. But I know how he got his Purple Hearts, and nobody else knows. They all believe war stories are usually fake for the families, but war is horrible. Anyway, my grandfather, he was a pastor. He hoarded political cartoons. He was a lifelong Democrat, but and anyway, I grew up and I loved him. He would show me his shoeboxes and save them for me, give them to me, and he'd say, why can't you do this? Like, why don't you go to school and do this? And do this, what? Be a political cartoonist, and I remember, and, he passed long ago, but, everybody's got that one person they love more than anybody. And, when I go to heaven, the first person I want to see is definitely my grandpa. And, so that's why I became a political cartoonist. when Trump ran, and I had no skills, no, I just had no money at the time, nothing. I was doing these cartoons on paper and Sharpie, and I was just, how am I going to do this? I just worked my way up with some classes and just doing it. I didn't even have internet for 6 months. I didn't even have a cell phone for 6 months too. So like, I was borrowing other people's cell phones to take pictures of my cartoons, anyway, I taped all the cartoons to my wall, and I literally had a wallpaper of cartoons, and I took it down. Then I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing these on my phone. And there is this app called Autodesk Sketchbook. And like everything, you need practice, but I think you have to have the drive, like I do, the drive. To be a political cartoonist is absolutely amazing. It is one of the world's most dangerous jobs. A lot of these famous cartoonists are state sponsored, or in newspapers, New York Times, but to be a political cartoonist and not have that kind of protection, and it's weaponized. I'm attacking Trump's enemies, and I'm defending his friends, and it's like a weapon, and like meme. It's people share them, and it's almost like in the French Revolution. Napoleon, would say over and over, that James Gillibrand, that political cartoonist, he's the scourge. He's my scourge, and all throughout time, political cartoonists have been imprisoned. If you draw a king with a pear face, that will get you in court. Even today, I heard Paul Joseph Watson talk about a political cartoonist the other day. I don't know, I think it was in Sweden or something, and the law's cracking down on them, and a lot of times they're murdered. So I read about this, and my favorite political cartoons are the ones from the French Revolution. Those are my favorite cartoons of all time, and I have the whole collection. Like I poured over these cartoons. It's animalistic. It's like it's just the grotesque figures of the English people, or anyway, I always loved caricaturists too. Mad Magazine. I was collecting Mad Magazine as a young kid. I had a closet full of stacked Mad Magazine, but I haven't. I recently looked at Mad Magazine, and it wasn't as good as it was when I was a kid. I guess it's left leaning, and it really turns me off. They make fun of Trump, and like everything else. They're just, I don't know. But political cartoons are really important because I'm documenting history. Every day I'm documenting something that, is in the news that would apply to Donald Trump. Someday that's going to be really important. Historians, and also I've recreated a lot of famous political cartoons from the Civil War. I collected. I have a book on Nazi cartoons, Japanese cartoons, propaganda books. I have Daily Mail or Daily Caller just did an article a while ago about North Korean propaganda from the 50s. I mean, wow, that's like so exciting. It's like they're in museums, there are special collections, they're very important. For you to cartoon, it's the same as, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to read or don't like to read, but everybody can understand a cartoon, especially if you use symbols and, you make the bad guy, you make the good guy. And, you could have, I'm just saying you could do this. I started out on, paper and pen, and I'm nowhere near I want to be. But one day, I did this cartoon I'm doing now. I did it on my cell phone. I did this cartoon of Donald Trump on my cell phone with a tiny Android. It's not even a iPhone. I have a Samsung, and I'm using like a stylus, and the stylus from the dollar store. I mean, really, you can do this on your cell phone when you're on a bus. You can think of an idea, and like I said, YouTube is your instructor, or you just can take a digital class like I did. And here I am working on it. I'm sorry I wasn't talking about it, but I'm just color after I color. I don't know. I'm doing whatever. Like, I don't have, I'm just figuring it out. If that doesn't work, I erase it, do something else. So that's why I could have done this like in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But it's so tiny, and I got this like little, and my stylus doesn't match up sometimes where I put it, and so there's Donald Trump looking happy, looking healthy. I show you guys everything here. I show you my technique on the cell phone and everything, what I'm working on, what I'm trying to learn. I've been censored on every platform, deleted. Imgur deleted all my cartoons. They said, don't worry, you can upload them all again. And that was like a year's worth of cartoons. I've been doing this since he ran. Every day I do one a day. I have streaks where and then I'll have like something will happen and I'll be devastated, or I'll be in bed for a week. That's rare. It happened a few times. Look, Eric Dubé followed me. Anyway, I'm very sentimental. I follow a lot of good people. I follow Donald Trump closely, and wherever I go, I try to bring Donald Trump, because politics is about inclusion. There's me on Steam It. That's where I'm moving. I'm getting off Twitter. I'm going there. So meet me over there. Political cartoon, please. You can get paid by liking me, and I get paid by creating, and it's 50-50. Cryptocurrency, DTube, political cartoon, same thing there. Steam dollars. You can get Bitcoin. Patreon, if you want to, give me money, buy me coffee or whatever, you can do it there. I would love and interact with me and get my email, get my cartoons in your email every day. D-Live, there I am if you want to watch me live cartooning. I don't have good internet, but when I do, I did that. My dad loves this cartoon. He says this one's your best one. I did that a few. And look, Scott Adams liked it. And I love Scott Adams. I do. I love him. I want to follow Wing Bigley exactly. I do. I want to follow it exactly and succeed and simplify. And I'm, like I said, have to get off 12 out of 15 strikes on Twitter. Bye. Thank you. That's